Uganda is waking up on the news that the retired colonel, Dr. Kizza Besigye, opposition stalwart, is under military detention. This is according to his wife, Winnie Byanyima, the executive director of UNAIDS. According to the tweet to the post she made on her X platform, she said, I'll read this one. I quote, "I request the government of Uganda to release my husband, Dr. Kizza Besigye, from where he is being held immediately. He was kidnapped last Saturday while he was in Nairobi for Honorable Maria Karua's book launch. I am now reliably informed that he is in military jail in Kampala. We, his family and his lawyers, demand to see him. He's not a soldier. Why is he being held in military jail?" That's what many Ugandans read before they went to bed last night. And when they woke up this morning, again, more reports coming in from different angles. Daily Monitor last night published that cover page on its platforms that show that indeed Dr. Kizza Besigye has been missing 5 days ago. According to Charles Onyangobo, very respected journalist in Uganda, he wrote on his X platform, it says, top UN official Winnie Byanyima says husband Dr. Kizza Besigye in military detention in Kampala, where he's reportedly being held after he went missing in Nairobi, where he had gone to attend the book launch of Kenya's former Justice Maria Karua. He goes on to say, the veteran opposition leader who ran against 39 years long ruling Uganda president Yoweri Museveni 4 times was last seen Saturday evening at an apartment complex in Riverside Drive in the Nairobi suburb of Westland. Maria Karua was a running mate of a Kenyan opposition doyen, Raila Odinga, in the presidential election of 2022 that was won by President William Ruto. They unsuccessfully challenged Ruto's election in court. Raila since buried the hatchet with Ruto. Not so Karua.
You're watching Mordecai Marissa Political Commentary. Please consider subscribing to help grow Uganda's Voices of Struggle ecosystem. Thank you.
Very glad to be here on Mordecai Marissa TV.
Now, this is what I'm receiving right now, and you have received. And I've tried to go on and read on other different platforms on this story, and it is unbelievable. Just like you can see, I'll try to share a few things I see here. Reading from The Observer, they're reporting, they say, according to multiple sources, Besigye was last seen 3 days ago when he left his home in Kasangati in Wakiso district to check on a patient. Now, he left his home 3 days ago and went to check on a patient in a hospital in Kampala. While another source say he was destined to travel to Kenya with somebody, but neither of them can be traced. He sent us a message indicating that he has arrived, but we have not heard from him since. His phone and that of the person he traveled with are off, said one of the people close to Besigye. Another person who asked not to be named because they have not yet made the decision to go public said they are still inquiring from the government of the United Kingdom and the United States whether he has arrived there. We are still inquiring about his whereabouts and also discussing how to proceed. That is The Observer reporting. But at least what we know, multiple sources reveal that he was in Kenya attending an event where they were launching a book of Maria Karua titled Against the Tide, My Journey on a Less Trodden Path, which was launched at Serena Hotel in Nairobi on November 17th, 2024. Now, this comes at the backdrop of a few months ago, I think it was July. Again, Kenya was in the news when Forum for Democratic Change activists, Ugandans, were arrested in Kenya, arrested by Kenyan authorities, handed over to Uganda, charged with terrorism. In Uganda, I think it's the only country where the term terrorism is always used for no reason. Today they accuse me of terrorism, and tomorrow I'm left to walk scot-free. They usually claim to have all the evidence. They never provide that evidence. It is very unfortunate. What does this say to you, especially change-seeking Ugandans who are abroad and usually do not want to use Entebbe International Airport, to enter the country? You have to realize Kenya is not a safe place for you anymore, especially now that there is William Ruto, a very selfish, sinister character in that country, president. You've heard reports over and over again. He's a close friend to Mr. Museveni. You have seen him over and over again visiting Museveni in Uganda. And you would wonder, what is Ruto got to do with Museveni? But he's reading from his dictatorial book, playbook. I mean, you've heard reports of abducting of people, torturing them and killing them. Does that sound like something you've heard about a certain place? It is very unfortunate. And maybe you may not know Maria Karua. I'll play you this video. Here she is trying to explain the state of affairs in Kenya. And if I had not told you that this is Kenya she's referring to, you'd think she's talking about Uganda. Abduction, torture, killing of innocent people. Martha,
yesterday, you, activist Khalef Khalifa, Muhisa Kitui, CJ Emeritus, Dr. Mutunga, Professor Mutunga, and Kabando addressed a media conference with a long statement. And the thrust of it was basically just saying that things are not going right.
Yeah.
What is this?
It looks like Dr. Ruto has suspended the constitution without saying so. We cannot be having abductions by state agencies or by police officers or security officers not in uniform, who refuse to identify themselves, who refuse to say for what offense they are picking somebody, and who do not disclose where they are taking someone. I believe yesterday it is the fact that the social media went viral. That's the only reason they took Boni to Kamukunji. Otherwise, if they were taking him to a police station, why was it so difficult to say so at the point they picked him? Why was it difficult to say we are police officers, we are here for this and that offense? I believe if it were not for social media and for Kenyans and for the media generally, Bob Jagi and the Aslam brothers would not have been released, and we do not know what would have become of them. I know there are many other people being picked who do not have networks that can cry out for them, and some never return. We now know of the Pegulia gentleman whom they abducted. 1 week, he surfaced dead. We know of Gen Zs like Denzel Omondi, who was picked during the Gen Z protests and surfaced in a quarry dead. The Kenya National Commission on Human Rights listed over 60 people, if you like, missing. We do not know whether they're listed and who else is missing. It could be in the hundreds. What have we become? A country that abducts, tortures and kills its own, a country that is having detention camps. And this is not in dispute. Remember, the Bob Jagi and the Aslam brothers clearly said where they were, there were many others. To date, police have never owned up that they're the ones who held them. And we know they are the ones. Look, the morning Masengeri is going to court under threat of being jailed because he's showing up, because there's a warrant to detain him, is the day they are released clandestinely. What government operates like that? If you cannot guarantee or rather respect people's right to life and guarantee their liberty other than, if you're picked within the law, then you do not deserve to be in power. This is a regime Kenyans must get ready to throw out. Yeah, and that can even be before 2027.
And indeed, if you cannot guarantee or rather respect people's rights or guarantee their liberty, you have no business being president of a country. But William Ruto is not able to respect the constitution, guarantee people's rights and liberties, because he's learning from a tyrant in Uganda. I think of recent, she was even interviewed by Jeff Koinange. Again, she was driving this point home, exposing very nefarious tactics used by William Ruto against his political opponents. Uganda is as sick as Kenya. Kenya is as sick as Uganda because of one man, Yoweri Museveni, who is poisoning. Here, Karua speaking. Karua.
Yeah, because I was not arrested. I didn't go to Kamukunji.
Right.
So we were running around, organizing their defense.
And it took him 4 days to appear in court. I mean, it doesn't, because, you have to appear 24 hours after, right?
Now. Do you get a sense of deja vu, actually, given the times we are living in?
I think we've gone round full circle. I'm sort of feeling like we are living in the dark era. Only this era seems to be total eclipse. If we refer to the Kanu era as dark era, it was partial darkness. This is the total eclipse.
It's complete darkness.
It's complete darkness.
Why do you say that?
No lie. This is a terrible time. We have a constitution which is being disregarded. Rights are being violated right, left, and center. People being abducted by ununiformed officers or thugs, we don't know, who don't give you their names, and information coming through, reliable information, that is a special force outside of the police force, having both select police officers, mainly from Dr. Ruto's ethnic group, some from the army, and even foreigners. I would say foreign mercenaries, because when you come here to cause havoc in Kenya, I can't call you officer, it's a foreign mercenary, from the East Africa community.
Is there evidence of this?
Well, we got from reliable sources, just like we got from insider sources that the Wajir missing member of county assembly was at one stage in police custody. So they ought to tell us where they are, not really police custody, but in illegal detention, because detention without trial is no longer legal in Kenya.
Right.
So it was in illegal detention where people, abducted people are.
You talk about Moi's era being a partial eclipse, and there's that famous incident, everybody.
And just like she says, that Ruto is worse than Moi, Daniel Arap Moi. Some case we say in Uganda, Yoweri Museveni is worse than Idi Amin Dada. No doubt. Visiting injustices against innocent people. These folks have made people cry. I cannot imagine what I saw and, my mood. 2 days ago when I was watching stories of people who lost their loved ones in November of 2020, when Museveni unleashed terror on innocent Ugandans who were protesting against the arrest of Bobi Wine. Mothers crying, cursing his name.
nga toyina okulabirira abaana oyina okubaliisa mu butuufu. Pulezidenti wange nze munaye kwebaza ku lw'abaana bange abo, kubanga nali simanyi nti bayinza n'okusoma nga mpulira nkomye. Nebaza madamu Shifula yonna wooli, nze nali nkomye nga simanyi nti nyinza n'okumalako ku lw'abaana. nze nga nkaaba buli lunaku nafuna ekirwadde ky'okufeitinga ne bwe nsaba omulimu tebampa kuba nfuna obuzibu n'engweri n'enfeitinga olw'ekyo ekibeera kye nafuna kuba nali sikisuubira wayise otya ekirango n'ogamba nti bakuba essasi ku nnyama kuba nabajekuli era nsobola okumanya nti ensi ebonaabona ku lulwe atota mwana wa munno nga nabwosadde oli nsobola bannange kambawulire ng'omwana alina okunywa alina okwambala alina okulya ekikwete mu mwana baamulwala naye bitwala emirimu nyumba yawe wange gimbula gimbula kutuufu wagibezaawo abaana bange ne bannange kolima nze kolima tekira kolima ate nebabuli baliyadde babaseragala kuva mu bibobawa bali batubeereddewo batulabiridde batwadiridde egyekuli era nsobola okumanya nti ensi ebonaabona ku lulwe atota mwana wa munno nga nabwosadde oli nsobola bannange kambawulire ng'omwana alina okunywa alina okwambala alina okulya ekikwete mu mwana baamulwala naye bitwala emirimu nyumba yawe wange gimbula kutuufu wagibezaawo abaana bange ne bannange kolima nze kolima tekira kolima ate nebabuli baliyadde babaseragala kuva mu bibobawa bali batubeereddewo batulabiridde batwadiridde eremu n'essuubi nti oyo si katonda naye muntu nga faafa oba afiirwa nze bw'abaayo gyali amanye obulumi bwe tuyitamu musajja wuuna atoba kutulabirira n'abaana baffe naye nga naye alina obuvunaanyizibwa obubwe.
Then looking at Bobby Wine crying reminds me of when Dr. Kizza Besigye was crying as well. But who is this man that has appointed himself? I mean, look at Dr. Kizza Besigye crying.
Clearly, there is gross underrating of the gravity of this matter. You know, receiving money from, because, you know, our struggle has been very costly to those who want change. You know, many people have died, many people are maimed. It's emotional.
Imagining, thinking about the price that has been paid by so many Ugandans. What price? Losing their lives, many being maimed, others killed, tortured, others were disappeared. We'll never see them again. Look, there's so many countries that work together to get rid of regimes and dictators and tyrants. France worked with England and other countries like America and to fight Adolf Hitler. Even in Uganda, Ugandans were helped by Julius Kambarage Nyerere to get rid of Idi Amin. This is the time for Kenyans to work with Ugandans to get rid of this man. Has no respect for the rule of law, the constitution. Now, this man is, William Ruto, is planning to amend the constitution so that he can stay in power for how many years? Does that sound like something that has happened somewhere? It is very, very unfortunate. But what does this mean? Again, I usually tell you folks, it is another display of how a leadership vacuum is becoming large and large and large and large every day. Time is coming, and the time is now, actually not even coming. The time is now to offer ourselves for better leadership. It is very unfortunate. But I'll continue following up this matter and see where Dr. Besigye is. I'll make sure I keep my eyes on the screens and on online platforms and see what they'll be telling us. It is very unfortunate.
Did you enjoy what you just watched? I'm going to guess that you did. How about you consider subscribing to Mordecai Marissa YouTube channel? Thank you.